Greetings, fellow fright fiends, and thanks so much for dropping by the Horror Zone. I hope everyone's doing well. Today's video is going to be talking about a horror film that I grew up really loving. It's a film that came out in 1990. I was a junior in high school when it dropped. It dropped in October of that year. And it's based on a short story by my favorite writer of all time, Stephen King. The movie is called Graveyard Shift, and just recently Scream Factory put out this special edition of the film. It's not a collector's edition, but it does have a lot of special bonus features that the original version that I've had for a long time on DVD doesn't have. So it has interviews with the director, cast. So instead of just doing a review today, I thought I'd also talk about my love of the film, as well as some of the cool things that are on the new Blu-ray release. So the story of Graveyard Shift comes from Stephen King's Night Shift collection. It was a very short story in that book. Pretty much what the movie deals with is it deals with an old textile mill that has a serious rat infestation, and a cleanup crew working over the holiday weekend discovers a horrifying secret deep in the building's basement. The movie stars David Andrews as John Hall, Kelly Wolfe as Jane Wisconsin, Stephen Mache as Warwick, Andrew Divoff as Danson, Vic Palizos as Brogan, and Brad Dourif as the Exterminator. The screenplay was adapted from Stephen King's short story by John Esposito, and the movie was directed by Ralph S. Singleton. Little trivia on the film is that the film was shot in Maine, which is, everybody knows, as Maine is Stephen King's home turf. The name of the town was Harmony, Maine. It was shot at Bartlett Yarns, which stood in for the mill. It's the oldest wooden yarn mill in the United States, built in 1821, and the building was renamed Bachman Mills for Stephen King's pseudonym as Richard Bachman for the movie. Now, like I said, growing up, I loved this film. I was a fan of it the first time I saw it on tape, renting it. This film got a lot of shit over the years. A lot of people hated on this film, saying worst adapted movies of Stephen King's works. I've never understood the hate towards it. I've always liked the film. I think it has a terrific palette in terms of you just feel dirty watching it. It feels hot and sweaty. This textile mill in the middle of summer, the fact that there's this rat infestation. You really feel like they really went into a great deal to make it feel like that. And then there's this creature, and I love that the creature effects in this were always done practically. Of course, this was before CGI. This was several years before Jurassic Park. After that, the CGI started taking over in terms of the visual effects, and a lot less time and money was spent on practical effects and you know, miniatures and puppets and stuff like that. But the the creature in this is very terrifying. And I think it's really well done in terms of the way they light it, the way that it's kind of in the shadows. I also like David Andrews in this as John Hall. I think he's a good actor. He's a good character. He's not my favorite in the movie, but as a protagonist, I mean, he's easy to get behind. He seems like a drifter. He's just trying to get by, get a job. I always liked him, and I've seen him in other films that I've really liked him in. He was in Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines. He was in Hannibal. I've seen him in other things too, but those are the two I can recall. And I've always thought he was a competent actor and did a great job in what he's in. One of my favorite performances in this is by Kelly Wolfe, who plays Jane. She's a terrific actress, and really, I just love the way that she's established right away as a strong female character, and just doesn't take any shit from anybody. And she's just so awesome in this film, and she's always been one of my favorite performances, alongside Brad Dourif, of course, who plays the over-the-top exterminator, but you can always tell that he's having a blast when he makes movies like this, and he brings his A-game to this role, and I just love Brad in anything he's in. So yeah, Kelly Wolfe and Brad Dourif are my favorites. I also love Andrew Divoff. I've always been a fan of his from Another 48 Hours, Wishmaster, Toy Soldiers. A lot of people don't talk about that movie, but yeah, the guy's amazing. And some interesting trivia from the DVD is that that's who the original main lead would have been. Based on the director, Ralph Singleton, that's who he wanted to go with for the lead in this film. And I actually think it would have been really cool if Andrew Divoff would have been the lead character. I think it would have added a little bit more depth to the character, a little bit more, kind of mystique to him. David Andrews does a good job playing the part of John Hall's, but I think he's a little bit boring. There's not a lot of meat to him, and I think Andrew Divoff could have done something a little bit more interesting with that. So that was a kind of an interesting little trivia bit that came from this Blu-ray. Also, just based on the information that the director gave, is that that he had worked at Paramount. He was involved in Pet Sematary and then eventually Pet Sematary 2. He also worked on Eddie Murphy movies that I'm a huge fan of, like Harlem Nights and Another 48 Hours. Of course, Andrew Divoff was in Another 48 Hours. But yeah, really interesting trivia on this film, and some really good interviews with some of the main characters in this film, like Kelly Wolfe and Stephen Mache. Of course, Stephen Mache, he plays Warwick, and a lot of people, I think that's where either they like or dislike the film because of the way that he plays Warwick. Warwick is a very over-the-top, eccentric character, and there's really no redeeming qualities to him. He's just crazy as fuck and evil in every way. But that's what I love about him, and his accent. I know a lot of people say his accent is weird, but he really did work with a dialect coach, and he talks about it. There's a good interview with him on this Blu-ray where he talks about working with a dialect coach on that accent. And I think it's great because the character is so strange that the accent, it makes his character even more interesting. In many ways, I think he's the main villain of the film, and the Rat Bat is kind of, or the creature, the Rat Bat is kind of the second villain in the film. I mean, there is this monster. It is a monster movie, but Warwick is a monster in itself. And like I said, the creature effects in this, I love the set design as well. I think the mill looks amazing. I love that there's a graveyard next to it. The production design in this film has always impressed me. The fact that it's shot in Maine, and not a lot of Stephen King movies were shot in Maine. A lot of them were, shot in different areas around the country or even in Canada. Only a handful of Stephen King films were actually shot in Maine. Of course, Pet Sematary was. This one was. They came out a year apart, but also Thinner. You had movies like The Langoliers. But that's about it. Mostly everything else, even though it was set in Maine, they were shot in other states or other countries. Just monster movies like this. And I love the finale of this film in the bowels of this kind of creepy rundown textile mill where they're being stalked by the Rat Bat. And it's really creepy. There's a lot of, floating coffins and skeletons and rats and all kinds of cool stuff, and I love the ending. The ending is scary and cringy, and just you get to see the Rat Bat in all its glory. And yeah, like there's some great moments in this. There's some heartbreaking moments in this. One character's death still bothers me when I watch it today. It pisses me off so fucking bad. I think Ralph Singleton should get some more praise for what he did here. He really assembled a great cast. He had worked with some of these actors before in some of the other Paramount films he had produced, and you can just tell that there was really good camaraderie. Like I said, David Andrews is probably my least favorite character in the film, but that's not saying he's bad. He's just not as interesting as everybody else. But still, fantastic film, so much fun. Cannot recommend Graveyard Shift enough. If you're a fan of it, I definitely recommend picking up the Scream Factory release. One of my favorite releases by them. It's everything you want in a monster movie and a Stephen King horror movie. And Graveyard Shift easily gets 5 skulls. And to commemorate this, I thought I would wear my vest with my Graveyard Shift pin. I'll show it up close. I got this from Rat Knife about 4 years ago, and it's got a little light at the top of the miner helmet there. Love this pin. I snatched it up as soon as it was released through Rat Knife, and they had limited edition pins and things like that. But yeah, anything from this film, there's not a lot, so happy to have this release. I still will always hang on to my DVD release of it. And yeah, let me know what you guys think about Graveyard Shift. Again, definitely check out the Scream Factory release if you're a fan of the film. And thanks so much, everyone, for dropping by the Horror Zone. I hope everyone's doing well, and I promise that there's some really cool content coming real soon. So take it easy, stay scared as always. Peace. I want to thank everyone for taking this time to drop by the Horror Zone. It really means a lot to me that people are supporting what I do here. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button down below. I upload videos at least once or twice a week. It would really mean a lot if people would spread the word about this channel. This is a passion of mine. I love the horror genre, and I'm really happy to share my love of it with all of you. So thanks so much again for checking it out, and I'll talk to you guys later. Take it easy. Peace.